Hello everyone, this is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and somebody asked me to talk about the transcript that the murder sheet managed to get a hold of. And everybody's going crazy now with their suspicions and their theories, and did one of them do it? Did both of them do it? Do they match this guy? All right, I just want to clarify what I see is going on right now, and make it really simple. All right. First of all, Kegan Kline, 11 days after the murders of Abigail and Libby, he was investigated. He was in their sights. They knew who he was. Nothing actually happened until 2020 when he was arrested for child pornography and all the other associated catfishing things he was doing. And now another 2 years has passed, and again, he's not been charged with homicide. He's not been charged with murder. He's not been charged with anything but all the awful things he did via the internet, getting child pornography and all that with the teenage girls. Now, this has just come out. This is an interrogation that was done, again, 2 years ago. And it's about 190 some pages. I read it all. And what does it tell us? Well, it tells us a couple things. One is he does seem to admit that he had a conversation with, I believe, Libby, just a day before the girls got murdered. That does seem rather coincidental and very suspicious. This is why he's a suspect, along with the fact that he's a creepy dude. So he should be a suspect. That is not a question. He should be a suspect. Now, because he lived in the house with Daddy, and Daddy Tony Kline might have had access to the same little catfishing scheme he was involved in, whether he actually had access to do his own chats, or whether he was peeping over son's shoulder, don't know. But he's in the house and he's letting this creepo do whatever this creepo is doing. So now the question is, maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's bridge guy. All right, so everybody's talking about the height and the weight, what they would have weighed at the time. Would they match this description? All right, I don't know. I'm going to say right here and now, I cannot absolutely say either one of these guys is a bridge guy, or their voices. I'm not able to match their voices. I'll leave that to some experts who actually have some more information on the exact details. Now, should he be a suspect, Daddy, Tony Kline? Absolutely. He was in the vicinity of this little thing going on the internet. Absolutely. And in some ways, he's a better suspect in the sense that this guy does seem a little bit older than this guy. And also, at the time, I believe that he was having his little chats. He was what you would call a fat, it rhymes with duck. A fat duck. The kind of guy who sits in front of his computer and lives his little sexual fantasy life right there in the chair. Don't know if he's got the energy to get out of the chair, or that he's going to pursue anyone in real life because he's got his little game going. And, don't know. I don't believe he would do so because he doesn't seem the type. This guy, not so sure about. And there's some people that say, oh, they work together, the two of them are both there. Okay, now here's the problem, guys, just to be straight with you. They have had this guy in their sights 5 years ago. And on top of that, they've arrested him. They have his DNA. Now, there's two possibilities. There was DNA at the crime scene, or there wasn't DNA at the crime scene. If there was DNA at the crime scene, the reason they haven't arrested this guy is because they don't have any direct evidence that he was there at the crime scene, and his DNA doesn't match the DNA at the crime scene. You can't arrest the guy. You can suspect him still, but you can't arrest him for having a chat on the internet. All right, now, if there's DNA at the crime scene, could it be Tony Kline? Well, let's think about this. They've already got Sonny Boy here. They've got his DNA. What about familial DNA? Wouldn't they be able to figure out if this guy should be matched to the DNA at the crime scene? You would think. Yet he's not arrested either. So, now the question comes down to, was there really DNA at the crime scene? If there wasn't any DNA at the crime scene that was usable, then either one of these guys could indeed be Bridge Guy, but they just can't prove either one of them was there. They have their suspicions, they're good suspects, but they can't prove anything. And this transcript, I read the whole thing. They didn't come up with, they were just trying to, they were fishing. They were fishing and fishing and fishing and hoping that he would say something that would work. Well, that was 2 years ago. Guess what? He didn't say enough that made any difference in them being able to arrest anybody. So, in my opinion, neither of their DNAs match the crime scene, and it's not these guys, and it's just a weird coincidence that he was catfishing away with the girls the day before, or there's just no DNA at the crime scene, and therefore both these guys remain suspects, but there's simply no physical evidence linking them. And somewhere along the way, the police keep hoping they'll confess or somehow they'll get hold of something that would put them at the crime scene. But they've already gone through the house, so I don't know what more they're going to find physically. So that's the problem. That's where they stand. 5 years later, these guys have not been arrested. And this was already 2 years ago, and so that's a lot of time passing with no progress. So either they're not the guys or they just don't have enough on them. So all you guys out there, the armchair profilers who are going on about, making all their conclusions, stop doing it. There's nothing that can be done at this point except for, in the police hands, they either find the actual guy who killed Abigail and Libby, or they finally get something on one of these two or both. And that closes the case. We'll just have to wait. We'll have to be patient because clearly they're not being arrested at this point in time. So hang in there, everybody, and maybe if there's some more really interesting breaking news, I'll comment on that. So anyway, thank you all very much.